Hi guys, my name is Amena Thornton, and you are listening to Message of Hope, Stories from Struggle to Success. Today we have Balint. I'm going to actually try to say your last name. Josai?
Ja.
Ja, that's right. Ja. Jozsa. And Balint is amazing. I just got to put that in here real fast before I go any further. He has been, what type of fighter is it? Is it an MMA fighter, right? That's a martial art fighter. You also do stunt work, which is amazing. I've seen that. And he also does nutrition based in a network marketing company. Is that correct? You are in the nutrition space. Okay, so yeah, you are full balanced in that, and that's amazing because it's all stuff that I can resonate as well with, that I'm passionate in as well. Either way, welcome guys. Like I said again, this is Message of Hope, Stories from Struggle to Success. We're taping episode 35, and Balint wanted to share his full story today, so he is here from Australia, originally from Hungary. So definitely what a journey I imagine that was. And I imagine that, you know, some of your story is going to touch on that move. I can imagine that was a journey in itself. And if you guys are listening to this on the One Up podcast, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for supporting the channel. Make sure you share these messages of hope with your network to bring more positivity in the world. If you are listening to it or seeing the video on Amena.Media, the YouTube production channel, thank you for being a subscriber. Totally appreciate you guys. And so let's get started. Like I said, I'm just excited that you're here. I'm glad that you have taken out the time to meet with me, and we could actually meet face to face now. We've communicated quite a bit of months through Facebook, and it's amazing how time flies sometimes, isn't it?
Absolutely. Like I love social media for that reason. I actually connected with some amazing human beings all around the world, a lot of them in the States. So once we can travel again, I definitely want to go and meet you guys in person. So, but it's funny how now literally everything is just on the other side of the
on the phone. Like you can have us in your pocket. Like, you can take us everywhere.
Exactly. How incredible is that? Anyway, like I literally got some of my bestest friends from just saying hi to random strangers. Like I follow Yes Theory, and we like the theory, like the concept, and people like really embody is that a stranger's friend you haven't met yet. And like that's what we were like a month ago. I think I just said hi, and then we hit it off.
I don't even remember. We just clicked. We were on the same energy path, and it was just like, wait, you're cool. You have an amazing smile. You know, who are you? And then you were just like, hi, what are you doing? I don't know. And then all of a sudden we're chatting and talking, and like now we're here, and
exactly.
It's amazing, definitely.
Oh, you gotta love it.
Yeah. So what made the move? What made you move? I'm really curious about this because, you know, I've been in the United States my whole life, and I always find it fascinating meeting people wherever you guys are calling in from. And I love to travel, and I'd love to come visit everybody I meet through this program and just, have amazing experiences. But yeah, so what initially made the move? You said some of your family is still in Hungary, right? When we were starting off.
Not my immediate family. So what happened is in the 2000s, well, actually, we lived in Melbourne, which is south of where I am right now, which is we in Brisbane. Melbourne right now is in stage 4 lockdown. Everyone lost their minds again, but that's a different story. But that's where we used. That's a different conversation. We went there for the first time when I was about 3 to 5, and then we went back to Hungary. Even so I'm the oldest of 4, and my little sister was actually born in Melbourne. But when we went back to Hungary, my parents saw that there's more opportunities for us kids back here in Australia, so they applied for permanent residency. Now that was a 2-year process, but we got it. So in 2008, a family of 6 where the oldest
Wow.
was me, 12, and the youngest was 7. We came out, but we also brought out our German Shepherd at the time because we couldn't leave her with like back
That's
there.
cool that you can bring your dog though, because I
Yeah.
always wonder about the pets. Can you make that
Oh,
kind of move and bring your
yes,
pets?
the ticket's much more expensive than for a human being, and they have to be in a month of quarantine before they're able to actually go back to
Yeah.
you.
Okay,
So
I thought
now,
there was something on that. Yeah, but at least they can come.
yeah,
At least they can come. So yeah.
exactly. But she has a story on it. She was a year-old stray when we found her. We were like, oh, we'll find a once we find the owner, we'll pass it on. Never
Yeah.
found an owner. Fell in love with her. She had little puppies. So
You
anyway,
said
so
German Shepherd, right?
yeah,
German Shepherd. Oh, I love German Shepherds. They're
oh,
amazing.
she was awesome. She was awesome. So she lived until 14. So a
Yeah, that's a good
European
age.
stray lived most of her life in Brisbane, Australia. Like it blows my mind every time. Like how amazing that story is, just for that little dog. But anyway, so we came out in 2008, and that was a tough one because I didn't no one really spoke English. My dad and mainly my dad spoke English. My mom not as much. I forgot how to speak English in that time we were back in Hungary. So basically it was
Oh,
square one. Like I
yeah.
felt like I came home, so I had no issues of starting over. But my mom and my siblings had a massive amount of homesickness, especially the first couple of years. Now, funny
Yeah.
enough, when we went back, then they realized that all the fantasies and all the picture perfect things that were back in Hungary were not that true anymore. And they realized, oh, actually, we can actually see that. But it took that while. For me, I was like, I remembered all the amazing stories and adventures I had here as a 5-year-old. So I'm like, I was waiting to come back. I was itching to come back.
Oh,
So when we
wow.
were here, yeah, I was like, we landed on the plane. I'm walking in the terminal. I don't speak English. I look very different. I was shorter, chubbier, and I even had long
Uh-huh.
hair.
You had long
So
hair. You
yeah,
have to
then
post a picture. I gotta see this. Yeah, I can't imagine you with long hair.
I need to search for it. Like I know actually I found one. I found a picture when I was 13.
Uh-huh.
Have you seen the photo of The Rock when he was in his 90s
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
make that picture look nice. like, like I'm probably gonna just chuck it up. I might honestly, you might inspire me. I might just throw it up today, but we'll see.
Okay,
Uh,
I'll look for it. Tag me. Tag me.
Inspiration from Amena. Here you go. I even beat The Rock. Anyway, but yeah, we came out. I'm walking down the terminal, and I'm not speaking. I don't know it's English. We have no idea what we're
But you're
gonna do.
excited. You're like, whatever. I'll figure it out.
It wasn't excitement. It was
What was
certainty,
it?
and I had this voice in my head, and just feeling that I came home.
That's good. That's
So
good.
with everything that was uncertain, and like it turned out it was tough. Like, coming out in '08 when the GFC was hitting, my dad didn't get a proper job for 2 years, so he was doing some
What was
odd
he
stuff.
doing before? What was he
He
doing
was a
prior?
project manager back in Hungary,
Okay.
and he even did that in Melbourne. Now the
Okay.
funny thing, how I don't know how this is in the States, but here in Australia, if you have experience in Melbourne but not in Brisbane, they didn't count that as
Oh
any.
wow. No, in States it's everywhere. It's not
Yeah,
but in school, if you go to like a certain college and take like certain credits to get like a certain like degree, you can't
yeah,
transfer it, which is crazy. Because I didn't even know that when I was going to college because I took some classes. I didn't actually complete. My story took a
yeah.
turn, but when I was paying for my own classes and like, oh, I'm going to go for this. I'm going to go for this. And then I meet with the counselor, right? The person that gives you like guidance. They're like, none of this can transfer. And I'm just like, what? I spent all my money taking classes. I can't transfer, so it's like, seriously?
It's like a sad,
Yeah.
right?
And I can imagine your dad feeling the same way. He's like, what? I've
Oh,
been
I was
working so
struggling.
hard for this.
Like it was funny because I felt like I came home, but mom told the story that first night she cried that she thought she screwed up the whole family's future by
Aw.
doing that. So, but
Aw.
obviously,
And you were
bless her
12,
soul.
right?
I was 12. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. But I was like, yay, finally, snakes! I can go find these freaky animals here. Because
You
at the
don't have
time,
snakes in Hungary?
You do, but there was just little water snakes. There were much cooler stuff here.
Yeah.
Plus, you got the
Oh,
venomous stuff, and I was like,
venomous stuff.
yeah. Like I wanted to go down into that venomous snake path. Like that was the whole.
Okay,
Because
now I've seen a pattern here because now I see the MMA.
stunts.
I see the stunts, like the poisonous snakes. It's a pattern.
Yeah, but that's because we actually met a Hungarian snake catcher down in Melbourne. But that's a story by itself. That inspired me that I wanted to go down. Turns out that guy was the guy that taught how to catch venomous snakes. Sorry, he taught Steve Irwin how to catch venomous snakes
That's
because he was
cool.
friends with Bob Irwin, and so it's a very small world, a very
It
very small.
is. I think it's the wavelengths. It has to be. It has to be where you're at in life and who you attract. Because some of my connections, I would never even like realize I connected with these people, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I get it. Like with network marketing, it gives you a lot of amazing experiences in general. I don't know how long you've been doing it, but in my company, I've been with them almost a year now, and I've already been on 2 of like mind-blowing experiences. Like I would never even imagine like even being approached in something in that aspect, and I'm just like, wow, I didn't even know this existed. What a different life. What a different life that these
Those
people are
you get
living.
networking as well.
What's
It's
that?
amazing. The people that you get in
Oh
networking is
yeah,
just incredible.
it's family. It's like another family. So
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah.
Most entrepreneurial, enthusiastic group of people they will ever find is like in network marketing communities.
Yeah. And it's because the structure, it really is. Because I've met other people in different various network marketing since, and really gotten to understand it more. But it's the way the culture is built around. It's
Absolutely.
just because they're just like, it's not about like, hey, I'm going to be your director for life, and then eventually you might like get the skills by going off and learning some more schooling or something. Whatever the case may be in the corporate sense of stuff. It's really like I'm advancing and I want you to advance too. So go learn this information. It's like, and if you have any questions, come back. So yeah, it's very open and loving, atmosphere. So
You learn genuine life skills that you can transfer to anywhere else.
it can, yeah. I've known other people that moved on to other things now, being a part of it in a year. And people come and go all the time. I mean, that's even with school. That's with life in
Martial
general.
arts, choose your subject and the same thing happens.
Yeah, yeah. So you came to Australia. You were feeling like home and everything. It was a little bit rocky for your dad, especially. Was your mom working too at the time, or?
She had to go and work. She was mainly like with us most of the time when we were in Hungary, especially being younger kids. So she was able to be more of a stay-at-home mom back then.
Yeah.
So now she had to kind of transition, do work, have qualifications, and all of that. Um, and yeah, so that was a little bit of pressure to like change how everything was structured. Again, like I was just vibing. I'm like, I'm here at home. Like, okay, there's challenges. I will figure it out. Like, whatever. It wasn't easy necessarily, but because like it's when you're not looking for an escape. It's like, okay, so this is I know where I want to go. Be like here in my heart of
Yeah,
hearts. Like, we'll just figure it out. Like,
it's
so
true.
I was able to actually have that mentality just naturally because I was in a place that I really wanted to be and I wasn't even conscious of it. Like now looking back at it now, I can deconstruct it. But as a kid,
Yeah,
like that's what came
you
out
weren't
of it.
really sure. Yeah.
So we did high school here. Like I did high school. My siblings did a little bit of primary. Definitely different structure and much more chill compared to European school. Way more chill, especially the earlier years. Especially for mathematics. I was at least a year ahead when it came to maths. And so everyone's there with their calculators. We're banned from calculators. Everything had to be in our heads. We had to do it.
Really? Yeah,
Yeah,
it kind of varies here. It depends on the
yeah,
school and the teacher. So yeah, it varies.
exactly. So I'm there just like whizzing for everything. And when it came to the word questions, I failed because I can't read this. I don't understand what you're asking.
Yeah.
Giving
Sure.
numbers, I can do that. I'm fine. But then
Well,
once you learn the language, then you're fine.
yeah, numbers. I liked. I homeschooled all my kids, and now they're a little older,
Yeah.
15, 12, and 10, and now they're pretty much cemented on their routines and know what they're doing because now everything's online. So I don't want to like be there like 24/7.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always told them, there's multiple ways to do math. There's not multiple ways to do English, and that's the complicated stuff. Math is actually the stuff that you want. That once you get it, you got it. You're good
It's
because there's so many
systematic.
different ways to do it. Yeah.
Yes.
So then, did you have any difficulties up like in school, or was it until you got out of school? How did that all progress?
Sure. Again, like learning the language was a big one. Like kind of fitting in. Actually, I had okay. I kind of skipped the story why I was even like why it was so easy for me to transition into school, like transition into a different way.
Yeah.
Because like if we rewind back a couple of months earlier that year, like I had this little small incident where like my phone went off in class. I was quite sensitive, so I thought I'd disappoint the teacher, so I start crying, and I can't stop it. People try to comfort me, it didn't work. The teacher did not give a shit about it. He just like, yeah, just turn it off. Don't matter. But I felt bad, so I couldn't stop it. We went. Problem was that after that we went straight to PE, and we went into a boys' locker room. Now that's where like the mob mentality kind of came through, and then like all my classmates started to come. I saw that I'm not changing anything, so they saw weakness, so they went for it.
Advantage of you.
Like so it was this kind of little bullying incident where they started picking on me, and like these were my friends, like including my best friend at the time. So it got to a point where they like blackmailed me that if I don't give them money and chocolate, they will tell like the teacher that looks after us, and that really hit hard. Now afterwards,
It's hard when it's the closest people to you. That's the hardest.
exactly. But it was such a gift. Like I swear to God, it was one of the greatest gifts I could ever get because what happened in that time is that I didn't understand at the time, but that was so painful that I cut my roots, and I kind of like was able to learn how to shield myself from them. So when we went back the next week, then everything was sorted out. Teacher talked about it, and it was all cool. And actually, I was fine with it afterwards. Now, my best friend at the time, it hit him hard enough that the next year that we started school, he just randomly disappeared. And I was able to chat with his brother because I was able to stay in contact with him and say, hey, where did he go? And he's like, oh, no, it's family reasons, can't tell you. But he went to a different school. I'm like,
Oh,
right. But honestly, it was actually one of the greatest gifts for me because I was able to learn how to distance myself from people, which kind of came with its own drawbacks. But when I was in Australia, I was basically mainly by myself. Like I learned how to be okay with myself.
yeah, that's important. Yeah,
That's especially when you're in your teenage years, like so like puberty hits, like weird shit happens. You don't know what's happening. You don't understand social structures. Now you need to worry about
Well, you
that.
get pressured too, because I remember, well, especially because my mom was primarily my big influence. My
Yeah.
parents got separated when I was really young, and she was like the person I looked up for advice and stuff because she was always went around, and I was the only child at the house, and so she would be like always like, "Oh, you're pretty. You should get married, and they should be handsome and have lots of money." And so that like played in my mind. So in high school, you're like, well, who should I date? Who do I, it's just so weird to even think of that now. Like, wow. Like, cause the whole time I'm like, well, why can't I make money? Why can't I be successful? That doesn't make any sense,
Yeah.
So, but you're programmed to be like, you got to go find somebody. And even in high school, we're still so young in high school. I mean, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, wow.
Honestly, we probably will get to this later on, like why am I doing the crazy stuff that I'm doing? But like I told this story and I gave him this advice many, many times because I had to figure out one for myself. Is that school is great so that you learn so you get an opportunity how to learn. Most people don't take it though. Like I was able to figure out how to learn for myself. Now I wasn't the social hub of everything, but I became this person that like if someone needed advice, like understand something, they would come to me. And I'm like, I don't think I'm that smart, but apparently I was. So I was
That's
able to
cool.
figure it out. Yeah, I was able to figure it out, like how school works and how classes work and subjects work, and be able to actually work it for me, but then also be able to start passing that on. So I didn't understand at the time, but my natural teacher started to develop in
Yeah.
that time. Like, and then later in my life, I actually did way more than that, and I still love doing it. But that was kind of the catalyst of it. Like I was able to figure everything out.
I see
It's
what
like,
you're
oh, cool.
saying. You know, now
Yeah.
that you mention it, that actually brought back two memories for myself because I had an experience like that too, but it wasn't like in a peer group, but it was my teacher asked me to teach class. And I had that happen twice. And it was kind of odd and it was invigorating too. Actually, three times. I remember three times. One was a drama production. She wanted me to teach like all the students what I was learning. So I had to get up on stage and like teach them. And then one was in an art class. I think I was painting something. And then one was another art class because I was doing like figure drawing and they were really impressed like how I was doing the lines because they didn't really teach it and they didn't know how to teach it. And so I had to teach the class. And so it was really like empowering, like, I don't think I'm smart at this. I mean, really? Like, you really want me to teach the class? You're the teacher, you know? So I know what you
Yeah.
mean, especially when you have your peers coming to you and asking you for advice and stuff. I can
And you just
imagine
like,
that that's amazing, feeling.
it was cool, but again, I didn't think much of it.
No,
And then,
yeah, I didn't either until you mentioned it. It's like, it just
well,
happened, you know? So, yeah.
but turns out like we know we actually worked for it and got to it. Like I did an exercise recently where like I looked at this part of me and I said, well, what did it actually cost me to get this skill? Like what did I need to sacrifice to get it? And I went through different stages of my life and I'm like, holy Jesus, I earned this. This is definitely something of value because it started as a seed and then I
Did.
naturally just grew it and watered it and now it developed into what it is. But then
Unconsciously. Yeah.
yeah, now I try to do things more consciously, but again, like
Yeah.
we humans, like
We
our
do fall
consciousness
back on some stuff. Yeah.
we are limited, but I'm able to understand. It's like Steve Jobs said, it's like you can never understand your story looking forwards. You can only connect dots looking backwards.
Yeah.
So yeah, but this turned out to be actually my greatest gift became my greatest pain later on in life. So the struggle actually didn't happen in high school necessarily, but kind of was stemmed from high school. Is that what I struggle with because I had start like at one point I'm like, okay, I have to be here for the next couple of years. I'm just because I probably want to go to university. I'll probably just, I know I'm not everything is perfect, but I wanted, so I'm just going to make the best way for me as possible. Like I'm just going to make it fun for me. So for me, that means just I do as much as I possibly can. So I did musicals and academics and
I could
play
definitely see
instruments.
you in musicals. I love musicals.
Oh yeah, I did
Musicals are
everything.
amazing.
I
I love
sang, I
musicals.
danced a bit. Acting was my favorite though. Acting was the
Yeah.
funnest part.
I,
Yeah.
I think I would have stayed with acting a lot longer than I did because I did take 3 years of it. However, my parents never came to a event and it really crushed me. So I'm like, well, they
Yeah.
don't care. I was still in that bad mindset. And I didn't have
Right.
any friends that came. So I felt very alone, like they didn't support me. And I was still looking outside of myself at that point. And
Yeah.
I wish I knew then what I know now, but it worked out for the best at the end.
Exactly.
And life is abundant. It's not like I can't go and act right now. I mean, seriously, tomorrow I can like always take class and start doing it. So
Yeah.
wherever point in life you're at, you can always do that. So
Exactly. But ultimately, like, there are stepping stones at the end of the day. But I think one of the greatest things is when we're able to actually look within us and not try to get validation and
yeah.
opinions from the external. So that has been a big shift, like in my last couple of years when I started actually doing that, which is cool. But yeah, so school actually for me, high school was relatively good. Now the thing was because I was smart, I had this obligation to go to university. I had this because I'm like, oh, apparently like okay, people asking for my brain and like weird stuff like sometimes kids say, and like I'm like okay, maybe I need to do something because my plan before that is I just wanted to be a snake catcher. Like this, that's literally what I wanted to do.
So
Like
cool.
inspired from my friend from Melbourne, I just wanted to do that. Just go in the bush, catch some snakes, happy days. But I'm like, maybe if I'm smart, maybe a government job is not enough. Maybe I need to do something else. So that's where like this little bit of subordination came from. So I said, okay, I'm going to do the best I can for high school. I did really well. I enjoyed it. So in university, I get to do what I actually enjoy and love. Turns out it wasn't it. In fact, it was so like I decided to go into zoology. Like that was the story. Like that's what I wanted to get into. And it turned out to be, I felt I was committing spiritual suicide by doing that,
Really?
because
Yeah.
that's was the sense. Like I ended up in a very, very bad mental state throughout that. If I would have went to a psychiatrist, they probably labeled me with depression.
They
But I
label
was like,
you all kinds of stuff. I don't believe in labels at all. It's actually
no,
like real stuff that we all go through. I don't think that a particular person is defective. It's just they don't
no,
understand the dynamics of what they're going through. So they're seeking like an
exactly.
instant gratification, an instant answer. And that's where the label comes in. They're just like, well, I got to give you something, so I'm going to give you this label, so, and then you're going to be happy because you found the answer.
Oh, mic drop right there.
Yeah.
True,
Yeah.
100%. 100%. Because like that's what it is. What was for me, because I'm like, I know a drug's not gonna fix me. I knew for a fact that this is not gonna like help me
I
do
just
that.
did a report on this actually. 138 cases that I was just reading the report and doing some slides on it because I'm coming out with a mindset course.
Yeah.
And one of some of the slides that have to deal with this exact topic. And it was saying that, all these people that were getting drugs for mental health, none of them were effective. And this was over 138 cases. That's mean each case study. So however many people were in these case studies, and it was worldwide. It wasn't just like American, it was worldwide study. And it was amazing because it was that exact phrase where it was just like, in none of the studies did drugs work. And I was like, not one, like none of them. Like, wow. Now that is some powerful stuff right there.
Exactly. It turns
Wow.
out there's nothing wrong with being depressed or feeling anxiety. That's just a
No.
response to something that you have an
Yeah.
unrealistic expectation. Like I learned later now in life that depression is actually a comparison to your current reality to an expectation or a fantasy. That
Yeah.
oftentimes you in the fantasy you see more benefits than drawbacks, and in your current reality you see more drawbacks than benefits. So if you're able to can that and actually drop your expectation down below, then you can be much more grateful and appreciative of your life. But because we see the perfect like couples on Instagram with their private jets, with their yachts, like going on to this fancy vacations, and we're like,
That's 99.9% fake.
exactly. Like some people get these 6 sports cars next to them, like, bro, did you drive all 6 of them here? Not a fucking chance. Like we see this old glamour, like especially social media. Like I've been focusing on also showing my bloopers, my when I'm not doing that great, because it turns out it's much more engaging. People can relate to it, and like just from a marketing standpoint, but also I don't have to be Superman. I can just be myself and just a guy exploring and like experimenting with life and see what comes out of it. Like that is so freaking freeing and exciting and like just enjoyable. And it's not that pressure of like I need to be the perfect picture image in this case.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did not get that. I did not learn that lesson for university. I was learning the lesson. I was getting to that. But long story short, I ended up dropping out because I couldn't take it anymore. And actually, during that time was my first exposure to network marketing. I was with a different company at first place. Now, it turned out to be not the fit for me.
Mm-hmm.
Personal development was fantastic. But I remember sitting down with my parents and like, guys, I'm dropping out of uni and I'm focusing on my networking. And they were not happy at all.
Oh,
I
really? No. They were like, no, not
and
doing
I was
it.
like, what if you just change degrees, just get that paper, you get that paper. And I got so frustrated with that, like paper, like you need a paper to justify my intellect, not to my parents, but like to society. I'm like,
Yeah.
like I'm done. I'm not doing that. So I remember like I'm crying. I'm like I'm a mess. Like I just went through like almost 2 years of just trying to be someone I'm not, and like really struggling with that. And no one and everyone's giving you advice that means jack shit. and it's not
It's not your
helping.
life. It's not their life. They can't see
No,
what you're
no,
thinking and what you're going through. Yeah.
I was done at that point, and I'm like, listen, this might not be my part, but I know if I don't give it a crack, I will have that what if in my mind, and that's gonna eat away from me for the rest of my life. So
And I'm glad you put that in there because that's what a lot of people, I know there's studies on people going into, I don't know the exact ones, but I'm pretty sure you can find them on the internet. I know that people actually go into retirement homes and ask people like, what is their ultimate like takeaway? What advice would they like to give people, the next generation and stuff? And they always say, don't live with regret. Live more of your life, be you. And then when you reflect on things that you might have give up for somebody else because you were trying to fulfill their expectation of you, and how that feels, that feels crappy because it's not you at the end of the day. You're living a version that somebody else sees you as. So
regret is one of the most dangerous things in our society that we oftentimes slowly are subordinating to. And like I heard the same thing is like what's your biggest regrets, or what would you wish you have done in your life? Like people that like on the deathbed or in retirement
yeah.
homes. I wish I would have traveled more. I wish I would have taken more risk, and I wish I would have spent more time with my family. Those were like the most common things coming through. And I was looking at this situation like, what's the worst thing that could happen? I drop out of university. I don't like it. Things kind of go AWOL, and I go back and I try it again. Like again, there was no risk in that, but I knew that what I was doing was not working. And anyway, so he got me on the personal development journey of actually trying to figure things out, which eventually, after 2 years, led me to NLP for the very first time. Now, I went to this seminar because I follow a guy called Dr. John Demartini. He's one of the
Okay,
number.
yeah, I've heard of him. I haven't followed too much of him. I've just actually watched a couple of videos just recently of his stuff, and I can relate to some things that he says. Some things I'm not familiar with, but yeah, very interesting. And he's been
I
doing it for
love
quite
him.
some time too. So
Yeah.
yeah. And
The
and
guy's great.
NLP, what's the terminology around that again?
So
It's actually not a term that's been around for very long because I looked up that too because I wasn't originally familiar with the term. It was back in the 70s, like 72 or something. So it wasn't that long. What's the acronym stand for again?
So neuro-linguistic programming.
Neuro-linguistic programming. Okay.
Yeah, and you're getting a little dogfight in the background. That's what you're hearing. But anyway,
So,
you living life. Like it's right now, oh, it's 10 a.m. here in Australia. But anyway, you gotta love the wildlife. So neuro-linguistic programming. So the way I found it, so I went to the seminar with John, and there was another guy called Peter there. I did not give a crap about because I was there for John.
yeah,
Turns out I love Peter as well because I love what he was doing, and he teaches NLP. So if you ever been in a personal development world, you know that there's sometimes these free or cheap seminars to go, and the reason why they do it because they sell a seminar at the end. I knew that, so I was dead set. I'm not buying any.
You know that. You're already seeing it. It's such a setup. Yeah. They're going to talk me into something. Yeah, I've been there too. I've been there too.
I'm not going to do it. And then I walk out, signed up to the NLP course, and like, I don't have money for this. How the fuck am I going to make it work? Anyway, I did, and I'm very glad I did. And actually, when I went there
so what was Peter's last name? It sounds...
Peter Shaw. Scary
Shaw.
Peter Shaw. SHAW. So if you go to scaryandexciting.com, that's his website. I'm still in contact with him.
What's the website?
Scaryandexciting.com.
Siri and exciting?
Scary.
Scary and exciting. Scary and exciting.com. Okay.
So yeah.
I don't think I know some people with the last name Shaw, but I don't think I can't think of anything that I've seen of his.
Yeah. Oh, he's like a Merlin. So like you kind of know about him if you get a referral. He's kind of, but he's really good. And like I love the fact that like I love anyone that can build a raving fan culture, and he did.
Yeah.
So and I can kind of fit that model as well because I went there. I had some massive clearing, learned some good techniques, and I stayed in contact with him later on. So fast forward, during this time, I picked up Kung Fu, and I was actually even teaching Kung Fu during
That's
these times
cool.
where I was trying to do entrepreneurial stuff that didn't work at the time. But I actually turned out to be a really good teacher. Now, as I was developing, I got to a point where I'm like, I hit a ceiling where I'm not fulfilled. I'm questioning what I'm doing. The politics are getting too harsh. I know I can't grow any further, but I'm too comfortable and have no other options to go out from there. So, and this is the story how I got into the MMA fighting, because because if you're in martial arts, like you might have had that thought, like, what if I'm actually in a confrontation? Can I actually protect myself? Can I
Yeah.
actually do it?
Yeah. I
So,
actually
like,
took some boxing last year. It was so
yeah,
fun. I was like, I can't wait till the gym. Our gyms are still closed here. And I don't know if they're going to open. I'm pretty sure he's going to open back up. My other favorite gym closed. I was doing aerials. I don't know if you know what that is. It's basically silks that you
yes,
climb
I
up
do.
and do there. I was doing that last year, and I was doing the lyra, which is the hoops. I
Yeah.
love it. Love it. But the gym closed because it was
Okay.
a small family-owned business. But I'm hoping, because the other one's a small family-owned business too, I'm hoping he doesn't close. He said he's not, so cross my fingers, because it's been a long time since he's been able to have business. A
I,
long time.
I
So
can imagine. Like, I
yeah,
think gyms are struggling the most during these times for sure. But
yeah.
yeah, but you can't. It's not something like, well, you can get a loop if you want in your house,
It's
but
not
you
the
need
same.
not the same, and you need height and all of that. It's a little bit
Yeah,
different.
yeah.
Like my sister do pole fitness. Technically, it's not pole dancing; it's pole fitness.
Oh yeah,
So
I took one. They had a couple of those classes too. I took like two. It
yeah,
wasn't the same as being up in the air.
no, it's not, no. But trust me, we got a pole in the garage. So
Yeah,
next to
really?
my gym
Yeah,
mats, we
cool.
got a pole.
That's
Yeah,
cool. But it's
it's
cool now. It's cool. It has nothing to do with pornography or anything anymore. Now
tripping. Yeah,
it's a
no,
cool thing. You know?
no, no, and it's like some of the most amazing athletes are
They
pole dancers.
are. I've
Like
seen
I'm watching it,
because they
like
had pole dancing at the aerial place. They had parkour
yeah,
too. My kids were in the parkour, and just to see them like climb up the pole, it's just a pole, and I was like, wow. I don't even
yeah.
know like how you do that. Like it's just a pole. Like it's nothing to at least a circle, you have edges and different things. And the
Oh, what was
silks,
the
you
craziest
can
thing
grip
for
the
me?
silks, but a pole, you know.
And also sometimes it spins. Like the craziest thing for me was that, like, as for like for just for fun, I'm like, okay, cool, teach me something. Just
Yeah.
let me try something. And she showed me, okay, how about you try to hold with your thigh with no hands?
Yeah, I seen
I
that.
thought I
I
was gonna
seen
crush my nuts, and I could not do it. It was
I
like,
seen
I'm like,
guys do it too. I've
now,
seen guys do the lyra, the silks, and the pole, and it's just like,
yeah.
wow.
But I'm like,
I actually stay for the classes after mine. Can I just see and watch you guys? You mind? And they let me stay. They used to let me stay, but like I said, now it's closed. But it was just fascinating. I was just like, I just want to watch you.
so cool.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's and then definitely like the like amount of strength that you have, and like I
Yeah.
just have so much respect for anyone that get into that, because it's true body strength that you need to do. It's like gymnastics, that you might not be the biggest like bulk of muscle, but your like smaller connected muscles are beyond conditioning, and be able to actually hold yourself and move, but not only move, but move elegantly and beautifully.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make it look like it's
Believe me,
nothing.
I didn't look elegant for the first like I don't know dozens or so lessons.
Nope.
Like not even close, not even close. I like fell. I don't know how you guys can like do the nice little split and like I'm like yeah I just like like fell right through the I'm like I'm good, I survived. So
Oh
it was
yeah,
fun.
it's
But so
it's
you got into a kung fu first.
yes. So I
And
was teaching, and
yeah.
I got to a point where I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. And like I so this happened just over 2 years ago. I'm sitting in the office, and I've been thinking about this for like months. Like I need to do something, because what in the situation I'm in right now is not working. And I had one of my friends who was teaching at the time as well. She comes in and says, dude, you know your friend Connor? I'm like, oh, the one from high school? Yeah, what's up? I'm sorry to tell you, but he died in a car crash last night. Like, I'm like, it was, so I wasn't the closest to Connor, but we were good mates. Like every time we chatted, like we hang out, we even played together and for like we did, like he was a guitarist, like fantastic guitarist. And like that wasn't the crazy part that he died in a car crash. What really started to hit home for me is he was a month older than I was. He was doing what he was loving. He was in a band. They already traveled to the US, Japan, to Australia. He was
Wow.
doing well, and his career was growing in the way he wanted to. His dream, more important, his dream was growing the way he wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Um, and then one night, he's coming home. An old lady has a heart attack and drives into the lane and kills him. Now, had a second job at a time that was actually paying for my stuff, and it happened on a road that took every day to work.
Wow.
So like when you go past a set of flowers on the side of the road every day, when you know who that is
It
for
really
and you know the
was. I
backstory.
actually had something that, like, a person that I knew passed away, and I wish I reconnected because I didn't know he was on Facebook, and then I found out it was Facebook, and I never made that connection for whatever reason, whatever I was going through or whatever stopped me at the point. But and I don't say I regret that, like not connecting with them, but I did see that he just had a child. He was living, like you said, his dream, like the dream. He was taking a night job because he was doing music production, but he was still working nights to fund his production company. And
Mhm.
a lady forgot to take her medication and crushed him with her car. And he was one of those sideway workers, where they put the cones out. He was putting
Yeah.
out cones at the time, and he got crushed between the car and like the vehicle that holds the cones. And yeah, they had a whole big thing on it because it was near our capital, DC. And yeah, it's just like, wow, it really hits you, especially because we were close in high school. He was like my only real guy friend in high school. Like, you connect with, certain people really well. And it was just like, that's sad. It really does. It's another whole level, especially when you drive by it and stuff, and you're
It's
just like,
a
wow.
reality check. It's a
Yeah.
reality check if nothing else. And then like I could not shut up this voice in my head that could have been you. That could have been you. That could have
Yeah.
been you. And like going back to my first ever NLP course, there was one little saying that really stuck with me. There was a couple, but this was one of them. Is that when you need to change, first God tickles you with a feather, then throws a brick at your head, but do not wait for the truck. And I'm like, I'm staring down the truck right now. This was
That
definitely the
yeah,
break,
this
but
is
probably
definitely the truck.
bricks that happened. So after that, I made a decision. Okay, cool. I'm moving. I knew I just needed to get out of the situation I was because again, it wasn't serving me, and I got to a point where I wasn't grateful for in the situation I was anymore. And then I needed to take, you need to take that, honor that, and actually take action on that. So because of that, I got out. There's a couple of things that happened, but going into the MMA fund and using NLP for that too. So that story, what happened is that I was able to find a YouTuber who was going through a similar thing. He was doing his martial arts and he was teaching. He had a school and he fell out of love and he went through the very similar process that I did. And then he started doing something called Wimp to Warrior. I'm like, what's this? Then he started talking a little bit about it, and it was a 20-week training camp where from zero they train you up to be ready for an amateur MMA fight. And I'm like, when you hit that, like, oh, that's exciting, but holy shit, that's scary at the same time. I started feeling that. And then going back to NLP again, what Peter showed that his whole company is scary and exciting. So if it's scary and exciting, do it. And that was in my head again. So now you got these voices like, okay, you moved. If it's scary and exciting, do it. If it's scary and exciting, do it. So I'm like, okay, time out. Let me just see if it's here in my area, if it's actually possible.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
go to the
Let me
website,
see.
just curious,
That's how
nothing
I
in it.
started with the silk. Like, I didn't even know they were here. Like, apparently they were here for 5 years. I had no idea they were here.
It's
I had
international.
no idea.
Started in Sydney and now it's global. So I found a gym apparently that was in Brisbane. So I'm like, I'll just send an inquiry about it. Never heard back. I haven't heard back from them for months. And then a couple of things happened. I'm just living my life. I started getting to jiu-jitsu, seeing some gyms, but nothing really, I didn't really like the gyms, like really with their structure and like with my schedule and everything, it didn't really work. And then this email popped up, hey, we have tryouts next week. Do you want to come? And I'm like, oh, it's getting really real right now. Now, if you don't not accept it as trials, you can't do it. So I'm like, you know what? I had this like back and forth. Should I, shouldn't I? Should I, shouldn't I? So I had a conversation with one of my friends, as he's actually one of the people that I work with in my network marketing company.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I'm kind of in this. I've been ghosting people because I'm in this kind of stuck situation. Like, I need to do it. And it's like, bro, do you want to do it? Like money, time, and all the BS excuses aside, do you want to do it? And I'm like, it'd be cool. Then like, again, if it's important enough, you'll make time. You can give it a try. Like, what's the worst thing that could happen? And anyway, his support and his help kind of helped me just make the decision. You know what? I'll go for the tryouts. If I like it, I'll do it. Now, I went there. Of course, I loved it. And I'm like, okay, I'll make it work somehow. I don't know how I'm going to find the money. I don't know where I'm going to find the time. And I did that. So I jumped in and went into the 20-week training camp. So this was early last year. So I doubled down on my nutrition. I stayed in contact with Peter. So he was actually helping me out, set up these anchors and my mental conditioning that I needed for my fight. So for example, like when do I need to fire my anchors? Like for fight night, when do I need to fire my body? When do I need to fire my mind? When do I need to fire my emotions? And of course, those are fighting right now as well. In the background, it's like as soon as the story builds, of course they come in. Anyway,
you feel the energy.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, let's get it in. But yeah. Anyway, so like he helped me do that. So when it comes to anchoring is this little process where you do something. So either it can be a visual, it can be something that you do, something that you say, and it causes you to feel a certain way. So I'll give you, like, for all the listeners right now, I'll give you a very simple one. I personally use it. I've used for more than 3 years now. Is the feel good anchor. It's super simple, but it's really good. So all it is, it's a double snap of fingers. So what you do is not right now. So let's do this thing. So I want you to think of a time and just really, and you're going to feel this in your body.
Okay.
So I'm going to say emotion. I want you to feel it. And when you feel it, I want you to click your fingers.
Okay.
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 So
let's go for it.
I want you to feel a time, remember a time when you really felt happy. Like one of those happiness where like everything in your body was just buzzing. You were smiling from yourself. Okay. And once you feel the feelings, you snap your fingers. Okay. So when you really, that's
okay.
And then you can go for different emotions. Like, when did you feel absolutely joyful? Like, think of a time when you felt absolutely joyful. Who you like maybe the people around you, maybe what you were doing.
Okay. Yeah, I got it. And then
when you feel it, you snap the fingers. So what you're doing is that when you feel that emotion, you snap your fingers and you bank it. So it's like
it's locking it subconsciously. Is that what it's doing?
Now we naturally do this all the time. Like there's some, like we have people in my life when they come, like enter the room, suddenly like, hey, it's a good time. And then there's certain people.
Yeah, I knew today. I was so excited when you came on. I'm like,
yes, but like again, naturally anchoring, because like you see my face, I do crazy stuff, makes you laugh. You see my face, I'm whatever.
Yeah,
so it might have been because of that as well. There's a possibility, but the feel good anchor, the reason why I love this is that because if you bank this, the thing is that you do it every day, like do a couple minutes every day, think of a couple moments. It can be the exact same moments every single day, and you bank it and you bank it and you bank it and bank it. And when you snap your fingers, suddenly you get this burst of energy and like this mass, because like it's there for you. So you'll learn how to feel good on cue, which is
I get it. So it's like how we train dogs in a way, in a positive way, with the little clickers. Yes, interesting. Exactly. I like the other aspect of this, because usually when you train, or when people train this in like personal development, it's like, okay, we have to be grateful for something, right? We're always talking about gratitude, but giving that other feeling to it, that other sensation, I could see where it becomes even more powerful, because you're relating it to an emotion and a feeling as well. Not just being grateful, just to be grateful, but also going through the steps and saying, I am grateful and this is how I'm going to show my gratitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have anchors every single way. I like this because you carry your fingers everywhere you go.
Yeah.
And it's very subtle. You can feel nervous when you're going on stage and just go, hello everyone, how are you? So I just want to welcome it, and then you straight into it. And I'm just going into overdrive right now, I'm clicking my fingers too many times. But like when you do this daily, this is the trick. It's simple to do, but simple not to do. So
Yeah.
this is a really good one to have, because again, like there was a couple times where like there was something funny that happened last week, and I would laugh like hysterically. I would snap my fingers to bank that. So I either would imagine something.
Oh, cool. So even on the moment.
Even in the moment, you'll snap it and you bank it. So every time you do, you bank it. So if you need to feel it on cue, you can just snap your fingers and off you go. So again, I learned this from Peter Shaw. Like he's the one that gives credit to. But I've been using it. I've been doing and banking for the last 3 years.
They do this with people, with kids too, all time. What is that thing called? Autism. With autism, they give them clickers.
Mm-hmm.
And even my son, we had the fidget spinners. We had the fidget spinners because he was always like, he couldn't sit still. He couldn't like focus. So with the fidget spinners, it calmed us down. It got his emotions back grounded, So, yeah, I guess, and you always have your fingers with you. So yeah, I can see this being for any age.
Any age, anything. Again, it can be something physical. It can be a toy. It can be someone. It can you look at something, hear something, smell something. Like a very
smells are powerful.
You might feel you might be walking down the street and you feel a perfume, and then you think of an ex-lover. That's a really powerful anchor, and that's like actually that most of us have anyway, because like most of us have some form of experience with that. So like you like smell it, and then automatically your thoughts come up. So anchors are always naturally everywhere, but when you understand the theory, then you can actually consciously choose what you want and consciously how to use them. So for my fight, my anchor, and I couldn't really practice this, so I had to visualize it. So what I was visualizing for fight night is my hands being wrapped, and when I'm starting to like move around with someone or doing my practice shadows, that's when my body activates, but not my emotions and not my mind. Those are still staying calm. Because the problem is when it comes to fighting, there's so much pressure, so much things. Besides the fact that you're going into a cage to fight people, you're going to do it in front of about 100 to 200 people.
Wow.
It's going to be live recorded. It's going to be definitely. You just did 20 weeks of intensive training. If you did that, if you're not, then you're questioning if you're actually fit enough. Then you also, I was the main event. Yeah. I was the main event.
Wow. That's great. How long have you been doing this? How long have you been doing this?
I just did it last year. And I'm more on the grappling side now.
Yes.
I'd never done MMA beforehand.
Yeah.
So I did a 20-week training camp, and I had kung fu background, but that gave me bad habits. So there's one video, I put it up on YouTube. It's funny. Like I put my hands up too far away. So I'm sparring someone, a sparring coach. He comes over with a kick and knocks me out. It's like I learned to pull my hands in after that and actually protect myself.
Yeah, I haven't been in a fight, but that's one thing that was the hardest for me when I was doing the boxing, because it's so unnatural when you first start out. You're just like, really? You kind of want to be loose, you're like down here. They're like, no, up here. You're just like, okay. But then it gets so tiring to hold your hands up so long. It's like the whole time. Yeah. It's so hard. And then you're like, well, maybe I'm too close. So you're like, you don't want to hit yourself either.
Nope. Always come home. Yeah. So that was my body anchor. My mind anchor was, okay, we're ready, and then go. And then when I was walking backstage, I'm not going into fight yet, but I'm walking backstage, and I did that. And then my emotion anchor was when I was hearing my walkout song. Now there's a story behind the walkout song as well, because my walkout song, everyone had these like heavy metal, like hype songs. I Live by One Republic.
I love One Republic. I love
It's a rock ballad.
What's that?
It's a rock ballad. It's,
The vo-
but I love the words. So I found it at an event.
they're so positive, actually. They have like positive
Yeah.
music. They really do. And I actually went on this whole thing where I listened to One Republic, I think, for like 2 years straight. That was the only thing I would listen to. Well, I would bring in some of the Imagine Dragons songs, because I loved
Yeah.
Imagine Dragons too. Of course, some Imagine Dragons songs can be kind of depressing, but so you kind of like want to stay away from those. But yeah, there's some really powerful ones with Imagine Dragons too. So I was like switching between them both. Like, I gotta get both of them in. So yeah, I
Yeah.
can
But
totally relate to that. Yeah.
I love this song. So I had this song for probably a couple of years already.
What's the
Um,
one? What's the song? I'm not good with
I
song names.
live. I live.
Oh,
One
I
Republic.
live. Yeah,
So
I love
the
that song. That's a good song.
I found this at an event. So I went to an event. They played this song, and I'm like, okay, most of you missed this, but let's play this song again and really listen to the lyrics. And there was one, and I get goosebumps just thinking about it. There's one line that, like, in the chorus says, "With every broken bone, I swear I'll live."
I've lived. Yep.
And that was so powerful for me, because especially like that was the biggest goal for me for everything that I got, like going into entrepreneurship, going into teaching, going into like MMA, going into now stunts, is like I want to live my life to the fullest of exploration of who I am as a person, and actually and really live and have stories and lessons to share along the way. That sounded so exciting to me. So that was always a reminder. Now the funny thing, well, not funny thing, but the fascinating thing is that when I actually went to my friend's funeral, they played "I Live" by One Republic. And I was just
Wow.
bawling.
Oh,
I was crying when I saw that, I heard that, because I'm like, it was just a recognition that, no, this is something I really need to do. So like when they said, oh, make sure you get your fight songs, I'm like, I already know mine. I already know which
yeah.
one. So
Yeah.
that's into it. So I'm hyped. I'm like, I mean, I was so hyped like by that time, and I'm ready. Like I did the preparations. I went through the pain. I did the work. I took care of my nutrition. I took care of my body. I did my visualization. I was so ready. And I was excited. I didn't even have a
Sounds like
shirt on.
it.
I don't need one. Just let me just get into it. Like
Yeah.
I gave my flip flops. Yeah, we call them thongs, but obviously Americans speak, you guys, that means different. I gave my flip flops to someone else. I'm like, I'm
Yeah,
ready.
thongs would be something else.
That
Yeah.
means something else.
You're talking about underwear there. You're like, woo,
Yeah,
you
so my thong before my
yes,
phone.
you're just going all out on this fight.
Full, yeah, belt suit and everything. Anyway, but I'm so hyped. I completely blank out the ring girl that's telling me where to go. So I start going one way. She's waving at me like crazy. I can't see her because I'm ready. So my coach grabs me, pushes me in the right direction. I'm like, oh, I need to follow you. So I'm walking down. I'm doing all this, and then also like people are like, yeah, I got my team there, like people I train with, random people. As I'm getting ready to be patted down and just checked that everything's okay, I got a guy that yells at me, I put $20 on you. I don't know him. I do not know who he is. I'm like, yeah. So everything's happening. Go. And we go into the cage, and I'm ready. I'm smiling from ear to ear, and then went for 11 minutes. We did the full round. I did not tire at all. I could have went for more rounds if I needed to at that point. Like it was so invigorating. Like every point, like, and I wasn't blocking my jabs at all. So I'm like, this is freaking amazing. I'm getting a hit. I'm getting
a rush. You're getting a rush.
And then I realized, oh no, I can punch too. So now both of us are doing this. So I'm hitting him, he's hitting me with a jab. So you go boom, boom, boom. And then but like because of the fact that was my trigger. But because I was a main event, I was there for 5 hours not doing anything. So I was listening to piano music, I was doing breathing techniques, I was staying super calm, and I was like, yeah, whatever. Like I was so chill until I was warming up. So I saved myself that energy, because oftentimes people get burned out, because that 5 hours, if you've ever been in an adrenaline state, 5 hours is an eternity.
Yeah,
and it sucks. So I needed to that was like a unique little hack, but I was, because I was prepared. I knew what I needed to do. I was even imagining like the roof caving in. There's an opponent change. There's crazy stuff happening, but it doesn't matter because I'm staying present in my internal world. Because I imagined these things and I was ready for anything.
Yeah.
Like, I think that was one of the big mental things that was so
So
different.
nothing else triggered you, basically.
Exactly. I was triggering myself the way I needed to be triggered.
That's very disciplined. Very disciplined.
Very. But I was months. Like, I'm at work at this job and I'm like, I'm weight cutting. So I'm thinking about food. I'm like, okay, no. Let me do my visualizations instead. So instead of
yeah, that can be kind of hard. Especially when it comes to food.
Got to a point where I'm like, there's a quiet part at my job, and there's like, I'm not there anymore, but there's a quiet part in my job, and I'm like, I'm looking around and I pull up Google images of food. So I'm just
yeah, you are just setting yourself up for failure there.
But I'm like, no, I'm like, I just couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. I was like, I cut down 5 kilos when I was not necessarily need to. 5 kilos is about 12 pounds.
Yeah, that's quite a bit. And how many weeks? How many weeks? What, like a week or so, or 2 weeks?
No, in a 20-week period. So
it's 20 weeks. Okay. Well, that's a little bit more doable. So, but yeah.
But even then, like, I had to portion my meals much more. I had to say no to chocolate, no to rice crackers. Rice crackers were a hard one. Like it went through my birthday. So on my birthday, I had the small cake. So yeah, but
it took me years to be disciplined with food. Years. Yeah. And now I've got my diet pretty strict. Like, it is like solidly strict, but it has taken a long time. First, I started with getting rid of processed sugars, and then it was like the snacks, and then it was like milk products. I don't do any milk products anymore because I know how it affects me. And then it went to like straight vegan, and then even vegan has its issues with processed foods and stuff. And I am totally like, I don't want to do processed foods. I'll do supplements if they are all natural, but I won't do processed foods. So I've gotten back into raw fish. So I'm doing like a semi vegan, but with raw fish and even tuna, like wild caught tuna. So yeah, that's pretty much my diet now.
That's the key to everything, because I used to be vegan as well. I was vegetarian like 8 years before that. I was vegan for half a year. But that's one of the big things I realized is just because you're vegan, it doesn't mean you're healthy.
Not even close. Yeah,
it can benefit your health.
It can.
And there's like, especially for a lot of people that never did any kind of like focus on their, or like choosing their foods, going plant-based, it might be very beneficial for detoxing.
Yeah, sure. Especially if you're not, if you don't have, like if you're not used to eating vegetables and stuff, but I've always ate vegetables. Yes. I've always ate fruit ever since I moved out of my house, basically, because I didn't have that world back when it was just me as a kid. We never had fresh vegetables. I didn't even know what they really were and stuff until like I was much older, which is crazy to even think about. But everything was like canned or like in little like syrup containers and stuff. Yeah. Like I didn't know like fruit existed or real vegetables existed. Like there were frozen like TV dinner versions. And what a difference. What a difference.
I'm hungry. I grew up in European towns. So like as a little baby, I'm in the stroller and I'm going like this to the paprika, the whole sweet chili. It's paprika. It's not hot. Yeah. It's just a type of sweet chili, and I'm going like this as a kid, and then like as a I don't know, like a half a year old, I'm holding my sweet chili and then just eating it like an apple. That's how I grew up. But That's great. Then there's other parts to eating habits that you got for Europeans. By the way, if you ever in a European household, they show love by feeding you to death. And
watch out. Watch out.
No joke. No joke. Especially Italians. I
have a really close friend that's Italian. She just moved a couple years ago, and she was going to come back to stay for the summer. But now, of course, with everything going on. But yeah, I remember always going to her house, and she's like, bread, cheese. It was always like bread and cheese, and that's all. You know, it was wonderful bread. It was wonderful cheese. But, but yeah, it was always focused around food. So.
It's not uncommon, especially in our family, where like, we joke around this with mom. She doesn't do it anymore, but she did it a couple times, especially when we were younger. Is like she would have like, for example, let's say like a plate of potatoes and ask, "Do you want some potatoes?" As she's putting it on your plate.
That's cute.
Yes. So yeah. But yeah, food is a funny one. I was able to
Yeah.
go through it, but I had a big stick in my back to make sure I'm disciplined with my food, because if I'm like I'm not disciplined with my food, I'm gonna go and get punched out cold. So that was this, like the either the motivation towards pleasure or away from pain. And I
Yeah.
had this big away from pain that if I don't do this, I disappoint everyone that's following me on my journey so far. I'm gonna look stupid. Like when I'm
You're
going to the
programming yourself when you're doing this. So yeah, because
yeah,
you're putting in those blocks. You're like, and this
yeah.
is why, and this is why. So yeah.
And every time I ate something that I shouldn't have, there was always like, oh man, that was such a terrible idea. That was terrible.
You talk yourself
I was
down. You're like,
dreading
that's
throwing
awful. You
it
don't want
down.
that again. I know I do that sometimes too. I'm just like, that was totally not worth the calories. Totally not worth the calories. I didn't get no pleasure from that.
No, but it takes a couple of them to actually then really, really like hit home and go for it. But I did so much stuff during that time, like affirmations. I wrote down this one statement every single morning because I
What's that?
journal every day.
Huh?
And I'm like, because because okay, we in kilos, so not pounds. So
Mhm.
I need to be at 70 kilos, which is 150 pounds. That was my fighting weight. So
Yeah.
that's called life. I wanted to be at 72, which is 150 full 155
Okay.
roughly. And then 5 pounds is not that big of a drop.
154. How tall are you?
I'm 6 foot.
Okay. So yeah, that's pretty skinny actually. I would think. I don't know, but a lot of muscle, I imagine. It's all
I
fuel.
was I was I was very low body fat percentage, which turns out not a good thing. It makes you emotional when you low body fat percentage.
Oh,
As I found
interesting.
out.
Yeah.
But yeah, plus I wasn't sleeping enough, so that might have played it.
Oh yeah, I probably did it too.
But I was shredded. I was very thin and lean. But the one statement I wrote down, because I do believe affirmations can be very powerful if
They are. I totally believe it. In fact, I started writing them for the audience. So yeah, I
yeah,
actually do them on the podcast now. I write them.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was fighting, and I need to be at a certain weight. I knew that if I was 2 kilos above my fight weight, 2 kilos is pretty easy to lose. I pretty much lost 2 kilos in training from sweat. So
Oh, okay.
it wasn't that bad. So if I hit 72, so that was the goal. If I can stay at 72, then weight cutting is gonna be easier than just cutting. Oops, sorry.
That's okay. I know we're running a little over here, but
Yeah.
that's it.
That's cool. But the statement I wrote down is that I'm 72 ripped and strong, and I'm a monster to fight with. And every day I will write that down, and I have it in my mind to
Yeah.
think about it.
So now
Because
I'm curious. Did you win the first one?
yes,
Yes.
yes. So here's the thing. Now looking back at it, I probably lost the first round and then won the second two. But I didn't register that. I thought I was doing great. I'm like, this is cool. He's getting tired. I'm not. This is fun. And like, and then at the end of it, you can see when someone breaks. It's kind of a sadistic kind of feeling. But when you're in that like mindset of just going for it, you don't necessarily think about it. But I'm like, if I would have let loose 10 seconds earlier, I probably could have get a TKO, which is technical knockout, which
Yeah.
which it definitely ended. But I didn't. I was able to just land some heavy shots, get some head kicks by the end of it. But he was done. Like you could see his hand dropping. You can see when
That little
people
things. Yeah.
light goes out from their eye and they look for an escape. So at that point, I'm really dominating, especially the later rounds. The second round, I definitely have that. The first round was a 50-50 if I won it or he won it, but he most likely won that one. Second round was me. I won that one. Third round, he was getting gassed. I got some heavy shots in here on him. Now, I didn't remember this. I had to rewatch the video, and after everyone told me, I landed an uppercut.
Huh.
Now, but when I say I landed an uppercut, I don't remember landing it. I remember the sound his head made when it conked.
This doesn't
Yeah.
sound like a good thing.
It's like, it was great for a fight, but like
Yeah.
but what happened, even if you watch the recording, it's on YouTube. I don't know if you have show notes, if anyone wants
Yeah,
to
I
check it
do.
out.
I do. I'll put it up there. I'll have it in the description for the podcast as well as the YouTube. I know some of the podcasts, since it's on 9 networks, I don't think all the podcast stations, like the broadcast stations, have show notes that are available. Because when I send it out, the network that I partner with sends it out across to all of them. So some of them might not, but if you guys go to Amena.Media, into the YouTube channel under Message of Hope, Stories from Struggle to Success, episode 35 we're doing today. You'll see in the show notes on that, and then
That's cool.
you'll be able to click on it. So
Every time I watch it, I get hyped. So it's like it's one of the fun things, because for me, there's this whole journey of story of not knowing who I am, kind of trying to figure out life, hitting a plateau, needing to lose a friend to wake up, then making a courageous decision to do something that's from the outside looks insane, but I'm like, it feels right for me. And then
that's
going
all that
through it,
matters.
and then 11 minutes in a cage. Wow. And I was able to get my hand raised at the end. It was so cool. But yeah, even this uppercut, like I landed it and like crowd goes wild. Like, when like you hit it, there's a heavy shot in either boxing or MMA or kickboxing. Like when there's a heavy shot landed, you hear the whole crowd go, ooh. So yeah. And it's very encouraging for the fighter who landed it. It's very discouraging for the fighter who
that's going down. You're like, darn it, I lost. Or I imagine, I don't know. I've never been in that situation, but yeah.
It's all mental. The guy was faster running than I was. I think so. And he was a better striker than I was. I was a better wrestler. But
I like how you are so sincere about the dance in a way. I like I'll call it, because you're giving him credit. You're not taking all the credit. You can tell you're very genuine, and I like that. So yeah.
Honestly, if they didn't do the Fight of the Night awards before our fight, there's a good chance our fight would have got that one.
Yeah.
So it was a really good matchup. Like, I'm very, very grateful for him. He made me run for my money. I got punched a couple of times, and there's a couple of times where he comes with a swing, I just miss it. I'm like, that would have hurt if that would have landed.
Yeah.
It was a good fight. It was just, I was so prepared mentally and so prepared nutritionally and physically that at the end of the day, but I think at the end of the day, in that cage, that mental side, I wasn't willing to break. I wasn't willing to give up the fight. And
so now that you've went through this journey, Balint, I know you've done the stunt thing all the beginning of this year. Did you do that last year too? I think that's something new for you, right? Like, you just started that this year.
That was a rollover from, okay, so because I couldn't celebrate my birthday last year because I had to wait for it, I'm like, I don't drink, I don't smoke, how can I do this? Oh, I know a stunt park down south where I am. I just get to organize a group, and there's a birthday post-fight kind of thing. We'll go there. And I connected with a guy. Turns out they're doing a 2-week stunt course, like they always do, 2-week stunt course.
Yeah.
So I had it in my mind that one day I'll do that. One day I will do that. And because of COVID and what happened, there's a couple of things that's changed that was able to actually bring it forward and was able to do it this June. So that was a roll over from fighting, from the whole fight experience. That's how it runs it.
Yeah, that is really cool. And then what you're doing over there is amazing. But you're still doing the MMA, right?
I mainly do jiu-jitsu and wrestling right now. I've just been doing boxing just because of my schedule. Like, my main focus has been my network marketing business. Especially right now with, like, thank God for the online world. It's been booming, and I'm very grateful for it. I know a lot of people are struggling, and my heart goes out to everyone. But like, for me, it's been a gift because I've been able to just readjust and refocus. So because of that, I like to train in the morning, get it out of the way, and I got the rest of the day to actually like format everything that I need to do. So because of that, I've been focusing. I'm mainly been focusing on jiu-jitsu, wrestling, and then now just recently have morning boxing classes. So I will be doing boxing.
Okay.
but when I go to the States, my plan is to gym hop from West Coast to East Coast. So I will definitely be doing more MMA.
Let me know where you're at, because I'm going to be traveling too. So maybe we can meet up at a gym, because I love the
Yeah,
gym. I love different
I
types
love
of
it.
gym. I love different types of gym. I don't. For the
Yeah.
weight machines are boring to me, but if you get me like you're doing stunts or something, I would so do that. I would so do that. I feel like sign me up. Where we go? Where we're going?
Exactly.
Yeah, because that's what
Oh,
real. It shouldn't be so mechanical.
no, it
So
doesn't have to be. It's one form of exercise, but having that three-dimensional movement, that's very important too. But yeah, definitely. If you ever come to Brisbane or in this
definitely.
area
Yeah,
here, I'll take you to places that we actually do some sun training.
yeah,
So we
awesome.
can do car hits, we can do high falls, we can do bike choreography.
Yeah.
There's so much fun stuff.
I'm gonna be totally nervous, but you're gonna be there. I'll be like, yeah. Are you sure? I'm
It'll be
gonna
fun.
survive this, right? We're gonna be good.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
So.
But it's good. It's good. But we'll see where we go. But by the looks of it, and that might be a 12 to 24
Yeah,
month
it
thing
is.
that you can actually start traveling again. Who
Yeah,
knows?
even here they started opening up stuff, and now they're just like, nope, too soon, too soon. I mean, I went camping. I have an RV, and so I got that last year. So luckily I got that last year, because I actually got to go places already. But already California area and all out that way, it's still all closed down. Like they don't even have the campgrounds open, which is crazy. I'm like, they're campgrounds. You can't even go camping. Like here, luckily on this side, I'm on the East Coast in Virginia. They have opened up the campgrounds. So, but now they're packed, so I can't go as much as I want. But I scheduled 3 trips. I already did 1. I got 2 more. So, yeah. So definitely awesome.
Oh,
So
fingers crossed with
Balint,
everything.
what's that?
Yeah, with like this whole thing's open up, but we just have to wait and see. I think in
Yeah.
2022, anything can happen at any given time. But the people that are more worried about the external world are more susceptible to everything, and the people that actually go, okay, I'm just gonna take what I have and just use it for my best advantage and just do the most of it. The people that actually, I have a lot of friends that are crushing it right now, and it's been a blessing for them. But there's also other people that are not. So
Yeah, I
it's
know
inner
both
world and
sides.
outer world.
Yeah, both sides. It's everywhere, but you can't live in the whole this is forever, because it's not forever. There's always going to be situations in life where it's going to feel like forever, but it's not forever. You just got to keep looking up and just keep going every single day. But Balint, I am so grateful for you. I'm grateful to be your friend through social media and seeing all the amazing things you're doing. And so glad that we actually had this conversation and you came on the show and shared your story. And do you have a message that you want to leave people with?
Oh, yes. Oh, 100%. 100%.
Okay.
So this has been one of the greatest gifts and greatest lessons I have personally got. And I was searching for this because, again, I'm going through this whole kind of identity crisis, going through university, not knowing who I am, losing the small little bits that I thought was me, that's not me. One of the most amazing advices I ever got is that you're not supposed to know, you're supposed to explore. Especially if you're a young person, um, your job for the next 10 years, if you accept the mission, is to explore anything and everything that interests you. If there's something that you like, go and do it. But as soon as you don't, you need to let it go. Because when you either it's a person or a thing or a side like a job or whatever, if you start not liking it anymore, it becomes like a hot potato. And if you hold onto a hot potato enough, it starts burning you. So you need to drop it, because then you have an opportunity to actually go for something else. But you need to explore. But for exploration, you need to have courage, and you're not supposed to know everything. You're supposed to just start with what you know and then let what you know grow.
I like that. Yeah. And I like the visual too, because then,
Yeah.
it gives people something to actually think about. And I like to say that, even at any age, I know a gentleman that I've known for quite a long time now. I think like 15 years. It's amazing how long I've known him. But I think he's 65 this year. And he just traveled around the United States with a camper, him and his girlfriend. He has one older daughter, but that was from years ago. And so he's been traveling, sold everything. He does some construction here and there and some odd jobs, but he lives his life. And it's such an inspiration just watching his journey. He's all through Mexico over the winter. He just bought a boat and now he's learning to sail and fish and he surfs and he's 65. And I'm just like,
Amazing.
yeah, that is me. That's where I want to go. I want to have more experiences when I'm older, not like I need to sit down and, just, I don't know what, sit there, Yeah, no, that's okay. I'll pass. Let's do the other more exciting things. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
So thank you again for being on the show. Where can people reach out to you and learn about you do supplements, right? Do you do supplements? Or what is the network marketing company you're in?
What we do is we have a program called Shape Your Life program. So we either help people lose weight or get in the best shape of their life.
Okay.
I use the toning up process for my MMA fight, obviously, because I didn't need the other side, but it's more about it's not a quick fix. It's not something that just to lose weight. It's more about learning proper eating and nutritional habits for yourself for the long term. Because what really got me interested in the products when I started trying them is I learned that when it comes to proper nutrition, you will see the best effect compounded in 10 years down the road. So I'm like, I can get behind that, because especially as a martial artist, it will take time for you to earn, let's say, your black belt. But I know for nutrition as well, it's like if you take care of yourself, you give your building blocks that your body needs, it will program yourself. So it's like all your core minerals, your nutrition, like nutrients, you even get collagen and CLA, which is conjugated linoleic acid. It's a fancy way of saying this really cool stuff that helps you burn fat and build muscle. So like that's our whole program, but also we help people swap to safer products so there's no toxic chemicals in your everyday life, because that can affect you as well. So that's what I do as a business. And like if anyone reach out, even just to say hi, I'm on Instagram, so that's Balint_Jozsa, or just Balint Jozsa on Facebook. It's just me smiling there. You will see my stunts and fighting and being on fire as my cover photo.
The being on fire was amazing. I can imagine how you'll have to tell me about that another day. But yeah, definitely. That looked like a really intense situation. So like intense fun, not intense like scary, but
yeah, you only got about 15 seconds until it gets to your butt.
I bet.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. I loved it, and I did it twice already. So
wow.
Every person that I took there for it, loved it. So it's good fun. So yeah, if you want to reach out, say hi. Even I would love to connect. I'd love to hear your story.
So and you're in Brisbane, right? You said Brisbane.
Brisbane, Australia. Yes.
I have another gentleman out in Australia. I think he might be in Brisbane, but I think you guys would like hit it off like great. I'm gonna see where he's at and connect you guys. Because you guys would really connect. I just know you will. You will. He lives with a group of people now, wherever he's at, but I know he's out that way. But yeah, I'll connect you. So awesome. Yeah. So yeah, definitely. Grateful for you, grateful for this experience, and you to share your amazing story and what you're doing. So people can reach out to you on Facebook under your name, as well as Instagram. We'll put the underscore, and that will be in the notes too. You guys know how to exactly spell that and get straight to his links and reach out to him. Anything else that I need to know to put in the notes? Like any other things that you're working on right now that you want to make aware of I don't know, different things. I can't think of it there now.
Well, at the end of the day, if anyone wants to go check out my fight, you will have the link for that one there. Mm-hmm. If you're interested in what I do as well, either just connecting or when it comes to the program, message me. We'll love to have a conversation, see if it's the right fit, but also just have a conversation and just get to know you better. So that's the biggest thing. Please don't just add me send a message, like say hi. I've heard this really good analogy. It's like sending only a Facebook friend request on to a stranger is like sitting down next to a bar to someone and not saying a word. It's just weird. It's just awkward. It's like
I know a couple that I've missed. I tried to reach out to everybody, but some I know I only have so much time, and I actually, because I'm guilty of some of this, but I actually have my note. This is my journal and my notebook and everything. It's everything to me. So, but I actually have people's names down here that I didn't reach out to yet, and I'll make a video. So what I do is make a video and do like a welcoming video and say, "Hi guys, I'm me," and I explain who I am and stuff. And that has been, and I've been getting amazing connections just doing that, because people know it's the real person, at the end of the day. Yep.
So yeah, my thing is I would just love to connect with you first and foremost. That's the biggest thing. So that's why I love Messenger. It's my favorite app. Is you actually get to have conversations with people.
Yep.
Yeah,
yep. Definitely.
I just also want to say, Amena, thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it. Like, this has been a blast on my side as well. Hope people got value out of it. But yeah, I'm super excited to see where you continue taking this podcast, because I've been loving seeing you grow. So just thank you.
Thank you. And I'm pretty sure we'll have other things come out of this. I have a big future on this. I want to do a lot more than just this. I want to grow it into something much greater. And I'll let you know what that blossoms into, and throw out some ideas. We have a Facebook group, and that just got opened, and I'm connecting all the speakers through there. So we stay connected, because we're all on this mission on improving people's lives. And wherever this exactly will go for all of us, I know when the timing's right, it's going to come together. So I'm excited. Well, thank you again, Balint. Thank you guys for listening. This is the message of hope, stories of struggle to success. And Balint has been an amazing guest today. I know we went way over today, but
too much fun.
Yeah, I didn't stop talking. But I hope you guys got a lot of value out of this. Make sure you share his message, and we'll be talking to you soon. Take care, Balint, and have a lovely day in the future. Take care.